So let's talk about, you know, getting Steve attached to the project. I mean, was this something? I mean, first off, was he an easy person to contact, and was he also the first sort of name that you tried to contact?
I often am told by other directors how easy something is, but it's usually directors that haven't done it. Okay, so nothing is easy that I've done with getting people to return my calls or to answer the phone. You know, it's after rewriting and writing and writing and writing and rewriting and doing this and this and work. Getting a hold of these people, you just have to do it. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. So many people are afraid. You know, what's there to be afraid of? You know, what's the worst thing they're going to say? No. You know, why would they say no? Everybody wants to make money. You know, well, I'll sit over here with the other 30,000 scripts we're getting. You know, they might be getting a lot of scripts, but they're not going to. You have to believe in yourself, and if it doesn't work, go on to the next guy. You know.
So how many people did you try to contact? Or
he was the first one.
He was the first one, and
yeah.
So once you make the contact,
his manager, I didn't contact him
through the manager, and then how difficult was it to get the manager the script to pass on to Steve?
Well, I had a little bit of a. This again goes back to opportunity. Everything is an opportunity. This goes back to having a film with a distributor that had in his catalog films with name actors. So I immediately told the manager, as he tried to hang up on me, before he could hang up on me, wait a second, we have distribution with a production company that your actor just worked with. There was my in. You see? So they're all little bits of opportunity, little bits of everything connecting. And before that first film got to distribution, it was a play that one of the actors that I hired brought her uncle or cousin in who was a distributor. Everything is just connected. Everything is connected. So it's you have to, and these people, everybody in this business, I think, especially higher up, they're all looking for that good fella type of thing, where they want to hear not the gangster thing, but the statement of like, he's all right, he's a good guy, he's all right, meaning that you've worked with somebody that, so they know you're not a negative person, because they have to be protective, because there's so many people. You know, I'm not saying half, but there's a lot that will just throw their mama under a train to make it in this business. You know, and you have to be the person that would jump in front of the train to save the mother.
So you're able to keep the manager on the phone, and you're able. Can you take us sort of beyond that initial contact of getting like Steve? You know, so obviously you get him the script from there, and then what happens? I
was blown away. You know, I sent him the script, and I got a call back. You know, and they were just talking about the script, and I knew it was a good play. It was based an award-winning play. It won a grant at a performing arts center, and it was right in the big time of the big healthcare debate, you know, going on in the United States, and it was a lot about that. So yeah, he called me right back.
And then he wants to meet with you, or...
No. No, the meeting, the business had to be taken care of, and once the business was taken care of, once the actor decides that he wants to do a script, then business is taken care of. Okay, and then you have a meeting with the actor, and that's what happens, you know, and I respect that.
And what was that? I mean, were there certain promises and guarantees that you had to have in place in order for Steve Guttenberg to commit to the project?
You had to make sure the project had distribution. You had to make sure the project, you know, he was going to get paid what he wanted to get paid. You had to make sure that, you know, all the legalities were taken care of. you know, and he'd really liked the script, and you know, and was worked with me, and we were able to get him what he needed, and I was able to get what I needed.
And you said once his name was attached to the project, then sort of the money came in. Can you elaborate on that in any way?
Again, it's the same thing as I always speak of this people, other people, you know, working with you, believing in you, and wanting things to work out for you. You know, I didn't go to a bank. Later on in my career, I've been able to borrow some money from the bank for projects, but early on, I got help from private investors. You know, people that knew what I was doing, were following my career, and I think if you're out there doing something, it's easier to get somebody to believe in you. You know, you're just sitting at home with the script in your drawer. You know, you gotta do more than that.
And would you have distribution in place if it wasn't for Steve Guttenberg? I mean, was having a name, was it that important in regards to your relationship with the distributor?
I think I'll be honest with you. I believe 100% that the distributor was the first thing they noticed was the name. But the first thing that people say when they see the film, first they talk about the name, then they talk about the film. And they talk about the director. They talk about the other actors. You know, Steve is just gets people's attention because he's a legend. But we made a good film, and it was it wouldn't have been getting as much attention as it has if it was just a piece of crap with a name in it. Yeah. It's a great film, and he's what gets people's attention. Then they start talking about the film, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. He's all so that's pretty much how I feel about that.